Next, we have Roof Tech coming up. So we've got Mike Dunlap, the National Sales Director, and Milton Nogueria, the Senior Business Development Manager. Welcome to you both.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hey, Mike.
Thank you.
Hey, Milton.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, Jennifer. The 3 days, yeah. Thanks again for putting this together soon.
Yeah, we're excited to have you guys on here. So Roof Tech designs and manufactures mounting and racking for residential and commercial rooftop PV systems. And you guys have been designing mounts for quite some time. Can you tell me, Mike, a little bit briefly about Roof Tech's experience in the market?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Jeff,
So
if you can pull up the first slide too.
Thank you. Yeah, just a quick one on that, Jeff, in and out. So a lot of people don't realize actually how old of a company Roof Tech is. We've only been in the United States since 2012, but we actually started in 1968 and then got into solar roofing manufacturing and installing in 2004. So this is a little bit of imagery of that progression from 1994 to 2020. So we've been doing racking and mounting on deck and rafters for over 27 years. And some of those systems, and actually certainly on our test facilities, are actually still up to date. So we've got quite a bit of field data back on that over 27 years. So yeah, that's pretty much where we've come from, Japan, and then been now in US and Canada for the past 9 years.
All right. And you can take the slide down, Jeff, now, because there's going to be a demo coming soon.
There is.
Yes. So what makes Roof Tech different than other mounting companies?
Great question. So we are very, very much different from most of your traditional racking and mounting companies. So we do a top-down approach, which has become more and more popular over the past few years. But when we came to the United States in 2012, wasn't met with open arms, even though we had 20 plus years of experiences. So really what makes us different is the fact that we do a minimum amount of damage to the roof while supplying 100% waterproof capabilities. Meaning that we can go anywhere between a 0 to 12 pitch, pretty much on any type of roofing material. Or we have some exceptions though. PVC vinyl, wood shake, and pretty much anything with a hollow core void. We've been seeing that more and more with metal shingles and newer composite tiles. It's not something that we just haven't tested for yet. We are looking into making them compatible, but for right now, it works pretty much on anything else. So, for example, if you have a roof that goes from shingles to low slope, it can all be on one project, one type of material that you're being used.
Mm-hmm. And so, how do you achieve the waterproofing? And because you don't use a traditional flashing, so can you show us how you achieve that waterproofing?
Yeah. So there's mainly 2 components to our flashing systems, and that is basically our RT flexible flashing, which is a butyl-based component, as well as our wood screws. And so basically I could show this product here. So this is the Apex, our railless product that it has the butyl built right onto the back, if you can see that. And then we combine that with our 3/16 wood screw, which I'm going to get to in a second. So that being said, that's really what separates us differently from the rest of them, is that we are doing that top-down approach with the wood seal. Now, that being said, maybe we can jump into the waterproofing demo here that I can show you. Is basically I created this simulation. Yeah. Okay, so what I have here is our new Mini 2, which is our universal flashing for any L-foot for rail. And I have that mounted on it. You can see that is a granular rolled roofing. And then if you could see that screw right there, actually have it backed out about 1/2 of an inch. So this is just to demonstrate a little bit about our waterproofing ability. And this does simulate, I'm going to add 32 ounces of water here out of my Nalgene. This does simulate some of the actual testing that we have done. And I'm just going to set this aside. So what this simulates, and show that, I actually put water in there, is a ASTM 1740. And that's, I'm sorry, 2140. And that basically is 6 inches of water over the course of 6 hours to cause static pressure. And we did this test not only in the United States, but back in Japan as well. And what that shows is that we're able to provide flashing to be submerged underwater for a period of time for both metal, membrane, and even shingles on lower slope roofs. So that is pretty huge. The fact that we can go from a pitched roof to a flat roof all with the same product, providing minimal damage to the roof. And let me just jump into a couple other demos here without monologuing,
tell me about,
if possible. And
right, because you had a really good point on the lag screws. And this is something, so I really appreciate the test you showed, having built one of those myself, and I used to have them on my desk and testing out whether or not they leak. So seeing you do that is great, knowing that you guys are doing your due diligence. But with lag screws, I think a lot of people don't realize that a 5/16 lag screw is pretty enormous. And if you look up in the mechanical handbook in terms of what the appropriate pilot hole and what the appropriate clearance is allowed to be next to the edge of a piece of wood, it's really tight. So you guys are not using 5/16 lags, right? So you have some demos to kind of really illustrate that. Can you show us how your lags compare to a traditional 5/16?
Absolutely. So to clarify a little bit more from the NDS, the National Design Specifications for Wood Construction, the lag screw or any screw that goes into a structural member must not be within 1.5 times its dimension to the edge of that lumber. So, for example, I've created these here to show the most common lag and screw types out here. Now, as discussed before, we use a 3/16 wood screw for both decking and rafter. We offer a combination of either one. You can do decking only, rafter only, or both. So when you do have to go to a rafter, this demonstrates here that this 3/16 lag bolt can't be within 5/16, of the edge. So it allows over 66% of structural viability connection within that timber, which is about 15/16 of an inch, almost an inch. The second one that I have here is a 1/4 inch bolt. And this 1/4 inch bolt is limited to not be within 3/8 of an inch, and that gets you down to 50% of that rafter. Now, with our 3/16, this one does not require a pilot hole. With the 1/4 inch, it does require a pilot hole, and you don't have very much room on either side of that lag bolt. And then finally, on the 5/16, the most common and traditional lag that's been used, that requires you not to be within 1/2 inch of the side of the rafter. And that's pretty significant because it only leaves 33%, and basically you only have room to get this once. Now, the reason why this is so important is because earlier when I mentioned that, we do minimum damage to the roof, right now, the #1 cause of leaking in the United States and Canada are improperly flashed pilot holes. So in order to get this one properly, you may have to put in 3 or 4 pilot holes to get it right. And if you don't take care of those pilot holes properly, that will lead to a leak, which is the #1 common leak in America. Us not needing pilot holes is why we have such a great record for both rafter installs and decking installs.
Which I would like to add, if I may, back to that flashing conversation that you began with conventional metal flashing. So that metal flashing is really nothing if you don't have a sealant on the pilot hole or on the lag hole. It means really nothing because moisture is going to get to that. And the fact of the matter is that we have our flexible flashing butyl tape is right on the spot, and the butyl tape has a 25-year warranty because we've been working with that beyond 25 years. So we know not only from testing but also from experience. And you don't get even a single day of a warranty on the sealant that you apply on your. And I hope everybody's applying sealant on your. So just wanted to add that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So you said 25-year warranty on your guys' flashing?
Correct. Yeah, 25-year warranty with 27 years of actual field experience. And as I mentioned earlier, some of those original testing sites are still up in Japan, continuing to collect data. So I would say that we're probably the only company that has actually exceeded their 25-year warranty for flashing systems. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive because that means that you're actually going through the temperature cycling and that those mounts are seeing the actual weather conditions rather than the ideal test conditions in the lab.
That's a great point. And actually, our test facilities consist of 2 locations, one down on the seashore, which gets very high winds and salt, and then the other one's up in the mountains to get 4 or 5 feet of snow. Not to mention our actual in-field experiences that we've got installs all the way from Miami, Florida, up to the Yukon territories of Canada, because the butyl itself, once installed, can go down to negative 40 degrees and up to 250 degrees. As Milton mentioned before, when you're relying on caulk, you may not have those temperature variances that you might think. So check the back of your caulk bottle the next time that you can. You might be disappointed with its ability to handle high heats, which is very important for the majority of the continent.
Yeah, absolutely. So real quick, Josh is back. How's that mount doing underwater?
Okay. So, as you know, of course, we all know there's no water coming in from underneath, but it's a cool little demonstration. And I hope that it does give people confidence that our tests are actually done in real life. And you can absolutely use our mounts on flat roofs, and they can be submerged underwater, even though not recommended.
Thanks so much, Mike. And go to Mike's Whereby room and talk to Milton and Mike with Roof Tech, because they are giving away something exciting, which is?
Yes, we are giving away up to a 7 kW system with our railless system, the Apex. So come and visit us, talk to us if you're a contractor. We'd love to have you try it out.
Two of the best guys in the
training.
I'm sorry?
I said two of the best guys in the business.
Look at that.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right.